Muskegon, Michigan, a factory town on the eastern shore of Lake Michigan where the wind comes off the water cold and constant. In winter, the dunes here pile high with snow and the hills behind the houses turn white and inviting. This is where our story begins on a Christmas day more than 60 years ago. The year was 1965. Sherman Poppin was a gas engineer, a husband, and a father of young daughters. He was, by all accounts, an ordinary man with a practical mind and a tinkerer's restlessness. Nothing about that December afternoon suggested it would echo through the decades. His daughter Wendy was bouncing with energy, the kind of cabin fever that strikes children on a snowy holiday. His wife, hopping for a moment of peace, sent Sherman and the girls outside. There was a hill behind the house, and there was all that fresh snow waiting. Wendy wanted to stand up on her sled, the way a surfer rides a wave. Sherman watched her try and tumble again. And somewhere in that watching, an idea took shape. What if you could surf the snow standing up, the board beneath your feet? He went to the garage, that workshop of every American father's improvisation. He took two children's skis and bound them together side by side. He fixed a crossbar near the front, a simple wooden handle for a child's mittened hands to grip. It was crude, but it was something new. Wendy stepped on, gripped the rope, and slid down the hill standing upright. The neighborhood children gathered, then lined up for turns. By the end of that Christmas day, Sherman Poppin had unknowingly invented a sport. He had built the first snowboard, though no one yet called it that. It was Sherman's wife, Nancy, who gave the thing its name. Watching it carve down the snow, she blended two words, snow and surfer. The snurfer. It was playful, perfect, and it stuck. A name born at a kitchen table for a toy born in a garage. The snurfer might have stayed a backyard curiosity, one family's homemade joy, but the neighborhood kids kept coming back, and their parents kept asking where they could get one. Sherman began to sense that he had stumbled onto something larger than a Christmas afternoon. He refined the design, a single wide laminated board now with a textured surface for grip and a rope tied to the nose for balance and steering. He filed for a patent in 1966. The toy was no longer skis bolted together. It was a product ready for the world. Poppin licensed his invention to the Brunswick Corporation, a company known for bowling and billiards. They put the snurfer into mass production, and it hit toy store shelves at a price most families could afford. It was marketed not as sporting equipment, but as a winter plaything for kids. And sell it did. Through the late 1960s and into the 1970s, the snurfer became a phenomenon. By some accounts, well over 500,000 were sold in a single year. Across the snow belt of America, children were standing up and sliding down hills, gripping that knotted rope. Communities began holding snurfer contests, and on those Michigan slopes, the competition grew fierce. The races drew riders who pushed the simple board harder than its inventor ever imagined. Among them, in time, came a teenager named Jake Burton Carpenter. Carpenter loved the snurfer, but he wanted more from it: bindings to hold his feet, edges to carve, control on steeper terrain. He would go on to found his own company and help build snowboarding into a global sport. The snurfer was the seed, and industry grew from it. There is a wistful turn in this story, the kind that haunts so many inventors. Sherman Poppin had the patent, the name, the first idea, but the multi-billion-dollar sport that followed largely passed his fortunes by. He had given the world a toy, and the world made it into an empire. Yet Poppin never seemed bitter about it. He spoke warmly of that first Christmas, of Wendy's stubborn wish to stand and ride. He understood that he had given his daughter a gift, and through her, given a gift to millions of strangers he would never meet. In later years, the world began to remember him properly. Museums displayed the original snurfer. Snowboarders sought him out to shake his hand. He was honored as a pioneer, the man whose garage tinkering on a holiday afternoon had launched something he could not have foreseen. Sherman Poppin passed away in 2019 at the age of 89. By then, snowboarding was an Olympic sport, watched by audiences around the planet. The riders flying off those great icy ramps were descendants, every one, of a father trying to entertain his restless child. And so we return to Muskegon, to that white hill above the lake, where the wind still blows cold off the water. Picture the tracks in the snow, a knotted rope, a girl standing tall and laughing as she slides. From such small, ordinary moments, whole histories are carved.